I've got a simple but pretty cool looking transition to show you today. And this is kind of a basic transition designer techniques, but I feel like it's always good to see a few more examples. So I've got these two screens, and on the first screen, the recipes button, I want to create a link from that button. So I'm going to select it and press F. That's the shortcut for create link. And I'm going to target the menu screen. So I'll click there and click New Transition. In the transition designer, I'd like to have these two screens be aligned in the same place. So I'll click the Align Screens checkbox, and that lines them up on top of one another. And now I'm in the start position of this transition, but I see the end screen, right? These buttons are part of the end screen. So I need to hide all the elements of the end screen to reveal the start screen. So I'm going to fade out the background. I'm going to slide these three buttons down below the back button. And I'm going to fade those out as well. So I'll select them all here in the layer list by shift clicking on them all. Then I'll slide the opacity down to 0. And this back button, I should fade that out as well to reveal the recipes button that's part of the start screen. So now what we're looking at looks exactly like the start screen, which means that this transition will look correct when it starts. So now I'm going to play this back in slow motion. I'm going to hold shift, press space to toggle the transition. And you can see that effect. The buttons kind of bounce up, which is a nice effect for this transition. But we can make it a little cooler even. So what I want to do is I'm going to select the second button, which is watermelon, and I'm going to give it a delay. So down here in the timing section at the very bottom, there's a delay slider, and I'm going to set that to 200 milliseconds. And then blueberry, which is the bottom button, I'll set that to 100 milliseconds. All right, let me play this back again in slow motion. So you can see the kind of staggered effect. Now I think I actually got that wrong. I want to set watermelon to 100 and blueberry to 200. Okay, let me try that again. There we go, that's the effect I want. So they come out one at a time. And notice the easing that I have set here. I've actually lowered the friction a bit, and the tension I lowered a bit as well, just enough so that you've got a little bit of a bounce there, but the tension is slightly lower so that it's a slow bounce. So let's see this at full speed. You can see they all kind of have a nice bounce as the layers slide up. Now, one more thing I'd like to do is to select a couple of these layers. So I'm going to select blueberry first, and I'm going to hold Command, click on one of the corner handles, and rotate it just slightly. And then I'll do the same thing with the orange button, but in the opposite direction. That just gives the buttons a slightly off-kilter effect. They kind of rotate as they slide up. I think that looks nice. All right, so my transition's all done. Let me go back to the canvas. I added a backlink here by selecting the back button and pressing the B key, which is the shortcut for creating a backlink. And backlinks will go back to the previous screen and reverse the transition that was used to get there. So now I'll open up the preview and let's test it out.